message had been clear in its contempt. Docking Bay, Zetanine. Waste Management Level, Section D. The coordinates transmitted to Earth's diplomatic mission were an insult wrapped in bureaucratic language. The Valorian Confederation had made their opinion of humanity abundantly clear. Station Commander Thyrix adjusted his ceremonial collar with 3 of his 6 arms while reviewing the incoming traffic manifest. His purple-scaled features twisted into what passed for a smile among his species. The humans were finally coming to negotiate their pathetic trade requests, and he had placed them exactly where they belonged among the garbage scows and recycling. Haulers, Commander, his aide chittered nervously. The Earth's delegation's approach vector has been confirmed. They should arrive within the hour. Thyrix waved dismissively. Have security escort them through the maintenance corridors. When they dock, make sure they understand their place in the galactic hierarchy. He turned back to his holographic displays, already dismissing the humans from his thoughts. The galactic trade hub Nexus 7 was a marvel of Valorian engineering, stretching across nearly 50 kilometers of space. Its gleaming spires and elegant docking arms accommodated thousands of vessels daily, from massive cargo freighters to sleek diplomatic cruisers. The waste management section, however, was tucked away in the station's lower reaches, hidden from view like an embarrassing relative. Captain Marcus Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Leviathan, his weathered hands clasped behind his back as he studied the approaching station. The massive human battleship cut through space like a predator, her dark hull absorbing the light from nearby stars. At 3.2 kilometers in length, she was one of the largest vessels ever constructed by human hands, bristling with weapons and defensive systems that represented decades of innovation. "Captain," called out Dr. Sarah Martinez from her position at the science station. "We're receiving updated docking instructions. They want us to use Bay-Zetanine in the waste management section." A low chuckle rippled through the bridge crew. "Chief." Engineer Jackson Jazz Williams looked up from his tactical console, shaking his head. "They really don't know what they're dealing with, do they, Captain?" Chan's expression remained neutral, but his eyes held a glint of amusement. "No, Jazz, they really don't. Communications, hail the station control." The main view screen flickered to life, showing Commander Thyrix's scaled features. The Valorian's confidence faltered slightly as he took in the human bridge, noting the advanced holographic displays and the calm professionalism of the crew. "This is Commander Thyrix of Nexus 7. You are cleared for Bay-Zetanine. Follow the transmitted approach vector exactly." "Understood, Commander," Chen replied with perfect courtesy. "The UES Leviathan is beginning final approach." There was a pause. Thyrix's aide leaned into view, whispering frantically. The commander's violet eyes widened as he processed the information. "Did you say the Leviathan? Our sensors must be malfunctioning. We're reading your vessel as a capital ship." "That's correct. Commander, the Leviathan is Earth's newest diplomatic vessel. We're fully credentialed for this mission." The Valorian's composure cracked. But Bay-Zetanine is only rated for small craft, shuttles and maintenance vessels." Chen's smile was barely visible, but his crew caught it. "I'm sure you'll figure something out, Commander. Earth appreciates the accommodation." As the Leviathan approached the station, her massive bulk caused a stir throughout Nexus 7. Civilian traffic scattered as the battleship's navigation lights illuminated the commercial shipping lanes. Emergency alarms began sounding in the waste management section as automated systems tried to reconcile a capital ship attempting to dock in a bay designed for vessels 1/100th her size. Dr. Martinez, monitored the station's communications channels, translating the panicked chatter of various alien species. "Captain, they're evacuating the entire waste management level. The Valorians are calling this an unprecedented situation, Jazz. Bring us to a full stop, 50 meters from the docking bay," Chen ordered. "Let's give them a good look at what they're dealing with." The UES Leviathan hung in space like a sleeping giant, her weapon arrays and shield generators clearly visible to every sensor on the station. The battleship's quantum resonance engines hummed with barely contained power, creating ripples in space-time that made nearby vessels bob like corks on an ocean. Commander Thyrix appeared on screen again, his previous arrogance replaced by barely concealed panic. "Captain Chen, your vessel cannot possibly dock in Bay Zatanine. The physical dimensions alone. Are you refusing docking permission to an accredited Earth diplomatic mission?" Chen interrupted, his tone remaining pleasant. "Believe that would violate several interstellar treaties." Behind Thyrix, the bridge of the station's command center was chaos. Technicians scurried between stations while senior officers shouted conflicting orders. The commander's 6 arms gesticulated wildly as he tried to maintain control of the situation. "Of course not. Surely you understand the practical impossibilities. The Leviathan is equipped with variable geometry docking systems." Dr. Martinez interjected smoothly. "We can adapt to any standard docking configuration. However, if the Bay assignment is inadequate, perhaps the Valorian Confederation could provide more suitable accommodations." The implication hung in the air like a challenge. To reassign the humans to a proper diplomatic berth would be an admission that they had been deliberately insulted. To maintain the insult meant trying to accommodate a battleship in a garbage bay while the entire galaxy watched. Jazz leaned forward at his station. "Captain, I'm detecting multiple Valorian patrol craft moving to intercept positions. Looks like they're getting nervous." "As they should be," Chen murmured. He opened a general communications channel, broadcasting to the entire station. "Attention Nexus 7. This is Captain Marcus Chen of the United Earthship Leviathan. We are here on a peaceful diplomatic mission representing humanity's interests in the galactic community. We look forward to productive negotiations." The message was heard by thousands of beings throughout the station. Representatives from dozens of species, traders, diplomats, and ordinary citizens all turned their attention to the massive human warship. Word spread quickly through the station's social networks and communication systems. Within minutes, news feeds across the galaxy were carrying the story. Earth, the species that most aliens considered barely above primitive, had arrived at the most prestigious trade hub in the sector with a battleship that dwarfed most fleet flagships. Dr. Martinez smiled as she monitored the growing media coverage. "Captain, we're trending on 17 different news networks. The headline on Centauri Prime News is Humans Bring Gun to Diplomatic Meeting. Technically," Jazz added with a grin, "we brought several thousand guns to a diplomatic meeting." Commander Thyrix reappeared on screen, flanked by what appeared to be high-ranking Valorian officials. His demeanor had shifted dramatically from contemptuous dismissal to nervous respect. "Captain Chen, there appears to have been an administrative error in your berth assignment. We would be honored to accommodate the Leviathan at Diplomatic Bay Alpha 1, if that would be acceptable." Alpha 1 was the most prestigious docking facility on the station, typically reserved for the ambassadors of major galactic powers. Chen pretended to consider the offer. "That's very generous, Commander. However, we wouldn't want to inconvenience any other diplomatic missions. The bay is currently unoccupied," Thyrix replied quickly. "We insist. as the Leviathan majestically changed course. Toward the diplomatic section, her escort vessels finally revealed themselves. 3 smaller human ships, each still larger than most alien cruisers, dropped their stealth fields and fell into formation around the battleship. The sight of 4 advanced human warships approaching Nexus 7 sent shockwaves through the station's command structure. Intelligence reports were hastily reviewed, threat assessments recalculated, and diplomatic protocols frantically updated. Dr. Martinez established communication with the station's diplomatic corps, her credentials as both a scientist and ambassador, opening doors that had been firmly closed to humanity just hours before. Species that had never acknowledged Earth's existence suddenly requested meetings. "Captain," she reported, "I'm receiving invitations from the Andromedian Trade Consortium, the Rigel Commercial Alliance, and the Vegan Corporate Syndicate. They all want to discuss mutual opportunities for cooperation." Chen nodded, unsurprised. Power, as humanity had learned throughout its history, commanded respect. The Leviathan represented more than just advanced technology. She represented humanity's determination to claim its place among the stars. As the battleship settled into her new berth, docking clamps designed for the largest diplomatic vessels, draining to accommodate her bulk, the balance of power in the galaxy shifted. The species that had dismissed Earth as insignificant were forced to confront an uncomfortable truth. They had been wrong. The waste management bay sat empty, a stark reminder of the Valorian Confederation's miscalculation. In the diplomatic quarters, urgent meetings were being arranged as alien leaders tried to understand how they had so completely underestimated humanity. Captain Chen stood at the observation deck, watching the bustling activity of Nexus 7 through the reinforced transparisteel. The station that had tried to hide Earth's delegation among the garbage was now scrambling to accommodate them in the most honored position available. The message was clear. Humanity would no longer be ignored. The reckoning. The diplomatic reception hall of Nexus 7 buzzed with nervous energy as representatives from across the galaxy gathered for what was supposed to be a routine trade negotiation. Instead, they found themselves witnessing a fundamental shift in galactic politics. The 4 human warships docked at the station's most prestigious berths served as a constant reminder that Earth was no longer a minor player in cosmic affairs. Fleet. Admiral Zyrek of the Valorian Confederation Navy studied the tactical displays in his private briefing room, his scaled features grave with concern. The intelligence reports spread before him painted a disturbing picture of human capabilities that had somehow escaped their notice for decades. How did we miss this? He demanded of his intelligence chief, a nervous Valorian named Cathara. These ships appear overnight, wielding technology that rivals our most advanced fleet units. Cathara's response was barely above a whisper. "Admiral, our surveillance networks focused on human industrial centers and known military installations. It appears they were conducting their advanced research in locations we never monitored: deep space facilities, asteroid mining operations, even underwater installations on their homeworld." The Admiral's 4 eyes narrowed as he processed the implications. Humanity had been deliberately concealing their technological progress, allowing the galaxy to underestimate them while they developed capabilities that could challenge the established order. It was a strategy that displayed patience, cunning, and long-term thinking that few species attributed to humans. Meanwhile, in the station's most luxurious conference suite, Ambassador Alina Rodriguez was conducting the kind of negotiations that would have been impossible just days before. The silver-haired diplomat sat across from representatives of 5 major galactic powers, each eager to establish favorable relations with Earth. The Terran Coalition is prepared to offer exclusive mining rights to the Kepler system, announced. Delegate ButThey of the Andromedian Trade Consortium, his tentacles writhing with excitement. In exchange for access to your gravitational manipulation technology, Rodriguez maintained her diplomatic composure, but internally she was amazed at how quickly the aliens' attitudes had changed. Yesterday, humanity had been denied basic trading privileges. Today, they were being offered star systems. "We appreciate the generous offer," she replied smoothly. "But Earth's position is that all technology sharing must be reciprocal. We're particularly interested in your biomechanical synthesis processes." The negotiation continued with each side carefully probing the other's capabilities and requirements. What should have been a one-sided discussion with humans begging for scraps had become a sophisticated dance between equals. Captain Chen received the updates from the diplomatic team while touring the Leviathan's primary weapons array with station. Commander Therix, the Valorian official, had insisted on the tour, claiming scientific curiosity. But Chen recognized it for what it was, an intelligence-gathering mission disguised as courtesy. "These particle beam arrays," Therix observed, trying to keep his voice casual. "They appear to use a focusing system I'm not familiar with." "Quantum crystalline matrices," Chen explained, deciding that some information was worth sharing. "We discovered that certain rare Earth elements, properly synthesized, can focus energy beams with 96% efficiency." The intake of breath was audible. Their most advanced weapons achieved barely 70% efficiency. The humans hadn't just caught up to galactic standard technology, they had surpassed it. Jazz Williams appeared at Chen's elbow, tablet in hand. "Captain, we're receiving a priority transmission from Earth's command. The Admiralty wants a full report on station defensive capabilities." Chen nodded, then turned to Therix with apparent regret. "I'm afraid we'll need to cut the tour short. Commander, duty calls." As they made their way back to the bridge, Therix couldn't shake the feeling that he had been deliberately shown just enough to understand how outclassed his people were. The human captain had revealed their technological superiority with the casual confidence of someone who had nothing to fear. The situation became even more complex when long-range sensors detected additional contacts approaching Nexus 7. Dr. Martinez confirmed what everyone had begun to suspect. More human ships were en route to the station. 12 vessels, Captain, she reported from her science station. Mixed configuration 3, more battleships, 6 heavy cruisers, and 3 ships I can't immediately classify. The arrival of a human fleet sent shockwaves through the station's command structure. What had begun as an insult directed at a minor species had escalated into a potential confrontation with a military force that could challenge the station's defenses. Fleet Admiral Zyrek found himself in an impossible position. His military instincts demanded that he respond to the human build-up with force. But his intelligence reports made it clear that such a response could lead to disaster. The Valorian Confederation's fleet units were scattered across multiple systems, and by the time they could be assembled, the humans would have overwhelming local superiority. Ambassador Rodriguez used the growing tension to humanity's advantage. In a masterstroke of diplomacy, she proposed a solution that would benefit everyone involved. The Terran Coalition suggests a new framework for galactic trade, she announced to the assembled representatives. Rather than the current system of established powers dictating terms to newcomers, we propose a merit-based approach where technological contribution determines trading privileges. The implications were staggering. species that had dominated galactic commerce for centuries would suddenly find themselves competing with human innovation. Those who had been excluded from the inner circle of galactic politics would have opportunities to advance based on their capabilities rather than their political connections. The Regulant Delegate, whose people had been marginalized by the current system despite their advanced mathematics, immediately voiced support. The Regellan Computational Collective endorses this proposal. Merit should determine privilege, not historical accident. One by one, the smaller powers rallied behind Earth's proposal. They recognized an opportunity to break the stranglehold that the major civilizations had maintained for millennia. The human fleet provided the military backing that made resistance from the established powers costly and dangerous. Fleet Admiral Zyrek watched his carefully maintained order crumbling as species after species aligned themselves with Earth's vision. The humans had accomplished in days what conventional diplomacy couldn't achieve in centuries. They had created a coalition capable of challenging the galactic status quo. The breaking point came when Captain Chen made an announcement that reverberated throughout the station and across the galaxy. Effective immediately, he stated in a broadcast to all vessels in the system, Earth is establishing a permanent diplomatic mission aboard Nexus 7. The UES Leviathan will remain on station as our embassy ship, with rotating crew and supply missions to maintain our presence. The message was unmistakable. Humanity was not just visiting the galactic community, they were moving in permanently. The waste management bay that had been intended as an insult now housed the most advanced diplomatic facility in the sector. Ambassador Rodriguez concluded the formal negotiations with agreements that transformed Earth from a supplicant to a major power, technology sharing pacts, territorial recognition treaties, and military cooperation agreements were signed in rapid succession. Species that had never acknowledged human existence were suddenly eager to establish embassies on Earth. As the alien delegates prepared to depart, many carrying copies of human technological specifications and cultural exchanges, the transformation was complete. The galaxy that had dismissed Earth as irrelevant now recognized humanity as a force that could not be ignored. Dr. Martinez compiled the final reports from her diplomatic quarters, documenting humanity's emergence as a galactic power. The irony was not lost on her by trying to humiliate Earth's delegation. The Valorian Confederation had provided the perfect opportunity for humanity to demonstrate its true capabilities. Captain Chen stood once again at the observation deck, but now he watched a very different scene. Human ships moved freely through the station's traffic patterns, their crews welcomed at facilities that had been closed to them just days before. The diplomatic quarters bustled with alien visitors eager to establish relationships with Earth. The waste management bay remained empty, a memorial to the folly of underestimating others. In its place, Diplomatic Bay Alpha 1 housed the UES Leviathan, her powerful sensors monitoring galactic communications and her weapons systems, serving as a constant reminder of humanity's newfound position. Fleet Admiral Zyrek's final report to the Valorian High Command was a study in bureaucratic face-saving, but its conclusions were clear. Humanity had emerged as a major galactic power, and the established order would never be the same. The message spread throughout the galaxy with unprecedented speed. Earth, the small blue world at the edge of the Orion Arm,